Good morning. It's Wednesday, May 9th. One of our top stories today is a hearing that's happening today by a subcommittee of the House Fisheries and Wildlife on the Lacey Act. Specifically, they're dealing with the over-criminalization of the Lacey Act as a result of amendments passed in 2008. Even though this is just starting in a House committee, this is something the seafood industry should support and pay attention to. First of all, the issue of the Lacey Act is that it has strict liability, which is that a seller of seafood, for example, can be prosecuted under the Lacey Act regardless as to whether he made a good faith effort to find out whether his products were legal or not. The Lacey Act standard has no intention. It is strictly, if you violated a foreign law, your product can be seized and you can potentially be sent to jail. The Congressional Hearing is an effort to correct this. It wants to do two things. First of all, it wants to develop a standard as to which foreign laws would apply, because the U.S. has prosecuted people in the seafood industry and other industries even after the relevant foreign governments have said the laws were invalid or did not apply. The second thing the law would do would be an ad of intent. That is not simply that somebody who made a good faith effort to comply with laws and then had something that was a mistake has to face a criminal liability. Finally, Congress wants to correct the way in which the Lacey Act gives immense discretionary power to prosecutors who have the ability to bring full-fledged criminal cases for minor civil infractions. In some cases, they've abused that power, and they've certainly used the threat of that power to force settlements when, in fact, the parties involved may not have wanted to settle. It's almost impossible to defend against an act like this because of the way it is so stacked in terms of the prosecution. So we hope that this actual bill goes somewhere and that ultimately the Lacey Act is reformed, and think the seafood industry should pay attention to this. In Lexington, Mass., this is John Sackton.